Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly reading of the Zohar for world peace. With us today is Carl from Pittsburgh, Sean from Australia, Sylvie from Netherlands, Patricia from Ohio, Ellie says, the bells start ringing. Must be time for our togetherness. Annie writes Shalom from Western North Carolina. Mobler, greetings from Mexico. Southern Sass from Arkansas. Michael from San Francisco. Dewey from Alabama. Marina sends a heart from California. Lightning, greetings from France. Michaela from Romania. Cannibal from France. Misha sends love and blessings from Lisbon, Portugal. Ellie from Minnesota, and Lilu here from France. Thank you all, friends, for being here. Let's begin a common intention to read. We know the special book was written from a very high place of attainment, and it doesn't matter if we understand the words, but we want them to wash over us, wash over our heart, correct all the broken pieces of the soul into one soul once again. Let's start with a clip of Dr. Rob Laitman.
While reading the Zohar, you are in a special relation, proximation with the upper force. The upper force, it's called the innermost force that dwells in the general desire, which is the generality of existence. And then you have the ability to bring yourself closer to Him, to use Him. The using Him is by placing yourself towards Him artificially, where you want Him to do this over you. Suppose a small girl dresses like a queen. She wants to be a queen, so she dresses as a queen. And then that force works on her and makes her into a queen. We understand this kind of depiction. Okay, so that's what we have to do. So, if next to this force, which you call Zohar, you want to be rich, in control, in power, to be proud over others, this will be for you the potion of death. If you want to put on good clothing of bestowal and so on, this is what you'll have. So that is it's like this wondrous force. And what you want. You get, of course, there are conditions about it, but all in all, both through all of these bad cases, bad things where a person asks not what's for, not things that are in his favor, then that upper force teaches that person through that and shows him the right path. That's called work through suffering. It's not a neutral force that whatever you want you can get. It is a positive force, meaning that it has a special form of bestowal. If you don't ask for that form, then you get the very opposite, and learn from that. It's better search for the right kind of clothing, the right form. That's called the short and convenient path.
Okay, friends, let's start our reading. Today we'll be reading the flower buds. It is on page 63 if you have the Zohar book. You can also find it on Kabbalamedia.info in the library. If you search for Zohar flower buds. Here we go. In the beginning, Rabbi Shimon opened, the flower buds have appeared on earth. And in Hebrew, the words land and earth are designated with the same word, eretz, from the Song of Songs. The flower buds refer to the act of creation, appeared on earth. When? On the third day, as it is said, and the earth brought forth grass. The time of singing has come refers to the fourth day, the time of strictness, judgment, restriction. Therefore, on the fourth day, the word lights is written with a missing letter, which hints at the strictness of judgment and the curse. And the voice of the turtle dove is heard, refers to the fifth day, on which it is said, let the waters swarm, so that they can produce offspring. However, the words is heard already refer to the sixth day, on which it is said, let us make man, who in the future shall put action before understanding. We shall do and we shall hear. For here it is said, let us make man. And there it is said, we shall do and we shall hear. In our land refers to the day of Shabbat, which is like the land of life, the world to come. It is completely incomprehensible to us how the Zohar compares the words from Shir HaShirim with what is written in the Torah about the first days of creation. The 6 days of creation symbolize the 6 Sfirot, Chagat, Nahi, Hesed, Gura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod of Zeir Anpin, onto which all 10 Sfirot of Nukva are built. This is because Nukva is only the will to receive pleasure, while her entire spiritual body of bestowal, desires of bestowal, consists of her husband's Sfirot, Zeir Anpin, and the altruistic properties that Zeir Anpin passes to Nukva. Nukva herself, the created desire to receive pleasure, is an empty place unfilled with light, the creator. It is because the light can only enter a desire with similar properties to itself. Therefore, to the extent of her similarity to Zeir Anpin, the properties that Malchut receives from Zeir Anpin, those corrected properties of Malchut, turn into a partsuf and become filled with the light that corresponds to their correction. Thus, the greater the correction that is made in a particular part, the greater the light of the 5 lights, Naran Chai, that enter that part. The corrected and fulfilled part of Malchut is referred to as a world. Here and henceforth, the Zohar explains how Nukva is built out of Zeir Anpin, how the world is created. Nukva is called earth. Flower buds are Sfirot, the properties of Zeir Anpin that appear and grow within Malchut on the 3rd day of creation, which corresponds to Sfirat Tiferet, Hesed 1, Gura 2, Tiferet 3. In the beginning, Malchut was created as Zeir Anpin in height, two equally great celestial bodies, the sun, Zeir Anpin, and the moon, Malchut. This is why we see them as being equal in size when the moon is full. After all that is said with regard to man. In the initial state following her creation, Malchut is a point at the feet of Zeir Anpin and subsequently grows along him. This is to say, on the third day of creation, Malchut was equal in height to Tiferet of Zeir Anpin. However, Malchut was not able to receive the light in such a state. Hence, it is said, strictness or judgment appeared on the earth. In Malchut, the flower buds merely appeared. And after that, the time of singing has come. Already refers to the fourth day of creation. When Malchut was diminished, because she complained to the Creator, two angels cannot wear one crown. If Malchut is equal to Zeir Anpin in height, she cannot receive the light of Chokhmah from him. The reason for that being not having received the light of Chasadim from Zeir Anpin beforehand. Malchut cannot receive the light of Chokhmah, as the light of Chokhmah can only be received within the light of Chasadim, by clothing the light of Chokhmah, pleasure, into the light of Chasadim, the intention to enjoy for the Creator's sake. And the Creator answered Malchut, "Go and diminish yourself." In other words, if owing to your egoistic properties, you cannot receive the light independently, but only through Zeir Anpin, then diminish your own properties, accept his, and gradually correct yourself. Then you will be able to receive all the light and be like him, Zeir Anpin, the Creator. All of this is described in the Talmud, but only with the explanation provided in the Zohar do we stop receiving it as a fairy tale. Then Malchut descended below Yesod of Zeir Anpin, and her 9 lower Sfirot fell below Parsa into the worlds of Biyah, and only her Sephirah Keter remained in Atzilut, as a point standing below Yesod of Zeir Anpin. And from here on, Malchut is built not of her own Sfirot properties that exist in Biyah, but of Sfirot, Netzach, and Chod of Zeir Anpin. Although Malchut was previously bigger, she was not able to receive the light for lack of the light of Chasadim. Now she will be smaller, but she will have the light of Chasadim, in which she will be able to receive the light of Chokhmah. Even though Malchut will be at a lower degree, she will be able to utilize it, for the light of Chasadim repels the impure forces that cling to Nukva. That is the meaning of the word Zamir, singing or pruning. However, there is another meaning to this word that is at use here, cutting off or pruning the impure forces from Malchut, the rosebud. The voice of the turtle dove. The turtle dove is the Sphirah, the property of Netzach de Zeir Anpin, and the voice of the turtle dove represents Sphirah Chod of Zeir Anpin, the 5th day of creation. And since Malchut receives from Yesod, which receives from Chod, that is joined with Netzach, such reception by Malchut is referred to as the voice of the turtle dove. Therefore, the words is heard refer to the sixth day, since the voice of the turtle dove, Malchut, is heard only with the help of the sixth day, Yesod, of Zir Anpin, which includes both Netzach and Chod and passes their light to Malchut. Hence it is said that this voice is heard in Malchut only from Yesod on the sixth day. The reason for this is that Malchut can receive the light only from the middle line of Zir Anpin, either from Yesod of Zir Anpin. She receives the degree called Nachi, Ibur, or embryo, or from Tiferet of Zir Anpin. She receives the degree called Hagat, which is equal to Vak, Yenika, or nursing, or Katnut, smallness, or from Dat of Zir Anpin. She receives the degree called Chabad, which is equal to Gar, or Mochin, or the brain, or the Gadlut, or the big state. Let's take a moment to watch another clip of Dr. Rav Laitman.
Well, what he writes about the Zohar, that this book is the highest. There is nothing greater than it ever written in the Kabbalistic literature, that it is talking about the end of correction of the whole of creation. And from there comes to us the reforming light. I don't know how you will explain to them all of these concepts. In short, there's a special virtue in it, more than in any other book, in any other manuscript. So it's worthwhile for us each time to add a little bit to our lesson, a little bit from that book.
In 2 words, what is that word sgula? Virtue, remedy.
Sgula, a virtue. I don't know how to explain it. There's a special force in it that elevates the person. It broadens his vessels of perception, and the person starts feeling, seeing, understanding such connections throughout reality that he didn't see before. And then he sees that the world is a lot broader, a lot more intricate, complex, and there's a special engine in the world, and he can attain it, feel it, take part in it. But sgula comes from the word segol, the 3 dots in Hebrew, 3 lines that we can use the force of the light and the force of the kli and join them together through the masach, and then we are in sgula. All right? Yes?
About the study in the Book of Zohar.
But not for everyone, right?
So just to conclude, Baal Sulam in Messiah's shofar, and who but me knows that I am not worthy at all, even to be a messenger and the author of the revelation of such secrets. And there's no need to say one that can understand them to the root. And why did the Creator do it this way? It's only because the generation is worthy for it, because it is the last generation that is at the threshold of the complete redemption, and therefore it is worthy to begin to hear the Messiah's shofar, which is the meaning of revealing all the secrets.
That's it.
Let's take a quick moment to see who else is with us. Folks, let us know in the chat where you're from and how grateful you are that we can be together, and we have the special sacred text from the Kabbalists that is so needed at this time when we need the humanity to really unite above all differences and connect in this high place of Creator's love. We have Ray from UK, South Wales, UK, Lilu from France, Ali from Minnesota, Misha from Portugal, Cannibal from France, Ellie from Minnesota, Marina from California, Michaela from Romania, Michael from San Francisco, Southern Sass from Arkansas, Mabula from Mexico, Annie from North Carolina, Patricia from Ohio, Sylvie from Netherlands, Sean from Australia, Carl from Pennsylvania. Thank you, friends. Let's come back to the reading. Let us make man, for in the future he shall put action before listening. Sight refers to Sfira Chokhmah. Hearing refers to Sfira Bina. Action or deed is a property of Malchut. In order to correct Malchut, the Creator's only creation, a second restriction was made. Malchut ascended to Bina so as to combine her egoistic properties of reception with Bina's altruistic properties of bestowal. Malchut ascended to Abba Chokhmah, and Ima Bina found herself below Malchut, Parsa, which she became similar in her properties to Malchut. Eyes refer to Sfira Chokhmah or Abba. Malchut ascended to the level of eyes and stands at the level of pupils. Malchut is called Nukva, and Malchut that stands at the level of eyes is called Nukva Einaim, pupils, or Enim. That is why there are only Keter and Chokhmah in the Rosh, the head of Arich Anpin. Bina fell from the Rosh to the Guf, the body, and Malchut is above Bina. That is, Malchut represents an action that is above. In other words, precedes perception and understanding. This is what is meant by we will do and we will hear, the act of the second restriction, limiting reception only to Galgalta Einaim. Such a state is called the return in one's properties to the Creator. The complete return occurs when a hop of Malchut gets corrected and joins Galgalta Einaim at this degree. As a result of Malchut's ascent to Nukva Einaim, she changes her properties. Every one of us needs only this, to ascend to the level of the Creator's properties, so that we can receive them and become like Him, and is now ready to ascend to Abba Ve'ima and receive the light of Chaya. The constant light of this level is called the first temple. This is why, when receiving the Torah, Israel elected to act first and hear after. And for this reason, they merited reception of the Torah as the action. Malchut ascended and clothed Abba Ve'ima, and thus the secret of 50 gates of Bina was revealed. The construction of the temple does not pertain to it being built in this world, but rather to the attainment of the degree of the temple, the degree of Abba Ve'ima de Atzilut, the light of Chaya, the first temple, or the degree of Yeshut, the Atzilut, the light of Nefesh, the second temple. Here the Zohar tells us, it is heard on the 6th day, for on this day, in this state, Malchut was corrected by means of her ascent above. Bina, referred to as placing action before listening, to do and to hear as during the reception of the Torah. Malchut, in the state of ascension to Bina, is called the eternal land, or the land of life, for she inherits life from Bina. All right, friends, we will be concluding our reading for today with another short clip of Rav, and then we will see you next week.
2,000 years ago, this is where the Kabbalists used to sit, in a mysterious cave in the Galilee. This is where they've reached a state where they could express themselves, in the Book of Zohar. What did Rashbi and his students find out? Through the force of those 10 friends that could come together in such a way that there was nothing that could separate them. And so the Creator could dwell among them, could reveal Himself to them. What is the secret of the Book of Zohar? It's not a book. It's a revelation of the upper force. And therefore, for us, this book is the source of the godly force that is going to correct us and the entire human flaw, and that will elevate us to the purpose of creation. I'm glad that I've been born in such a generation when it is permitted to disclose the wisdom of truth. Yuda Ashlag, Bala Sulam.